Hello, and how are you today? Good morning to all mothers, grandmothers, cousins, sisters, friends. Hello, nieces. Hi, everyone. Today in my journal, I was writing about Grandmama shouting. And I have written in my journal, my grandmother babysat sometimes 13 grandchildren at one time. And it was an almost even mixture, of course, of boys and girls, but 13. Now, she didn't work. She had worked in her previous years, but nevertheless, at the time that I grew up in the 70s, a lot of the grandmothers stayed home and they babysit their grandchildren. My grandmother would listen to gospel music and she would just go to shouting. And sometimes we went to her church, she would shout, shout, shout. And as a kid, I couldn't understand why she would get so emotional. 5 o'clock in the evening time, every day, she would go back into her bedroom, close the door. That was her prayer time. And she said that she would go and pray. And when she came out, then she would finish the dinner time. But I spent more time with her in the summertime because, of course, school was out. But, I remember Grandmama just shouting, and that was her way of praising the Lord when she would listen to some of her favorite gospel music. And I tell you, she would just be cutting up. She would get so loud, excuse me, and she would just be so loud, screaming, and I tell you, she would put her shout on. Well, then I remember my mother as I grew up. She would listen to gospel music and she would go to church, and she too had that just shouting and screaming and all this kind of stuff going on. And she used to say, "Well, I'm happy." That's what happened when people get happy. So I as a kid, I couldn't understand what is so make her so happy that she would just scream at the top of her lungs sometimes, listening to the gospel music and sometimes a good word. Well, I didn't know that I would be shouting. It's funny because when I shout, I really shout, and I can understand now that why the shouting come. You could think of things that you're going through, or you could listen to gospel music, or you could think of the goodness of where God has brought you from, and then you just get all happy. So as I wrote in my journal, I said, I have no clue of things to come. They come from the direction of God each and every day. So listening and reminiscing on grandmother and then my mother, I said, wow, now I understand why. I'm in this van, and I had put this van on an auto loan several times, ups and downs in finances. I put it on auto loan, paid the auto loan off, but the van was collateral. So at a certain time, they would give me back my ownership, a pink slip of the car, because as long as I had the a loan out, of course, then they owned the car. I would not have never known those times when I didn't pay the loan on time and maybe I missed a couple of months or so. I didn't ever know, I never had known why they didn't come and get the van. How come it didn't go into the repo? I couldn't understand why everybody else is getting repoed, and sometimes I'd be almost going on 3 months without seeing something. May not have been the amount they requested me to send, but it was maybe $5 or $10. What's that? So I would send something, or I would give them a call. Hey, I'm going to be late. Whatever, you want to refinance me or what? But they always heard from me. And I didn't ever know why they don't come and get the van. I even called them one time and said, hey, do you guys want the van? Because this is going on 3 months and I don't think I'm going to have the money. Do you want the van? They said, no, we don't want the van. We want our payment. Who would have known, as I say, in the direction that God was going to send me, that He knew in the future the van was going to be my home. He knew that they could not repo my home. I didn't know, of course. Told you I didn't know. But I went to shouting because I'm like, now I know why Grandmama was shouting. Things came, we as children, we didn't need to know and understand. Mama shouting and carried on. We didn't need to understand the goodness of God, what was happening in her life and why. So now I know why. They were shouting. That van could never have been repossessed because God had made an appointed time for me to live in it for 365 days. That's why that van could never have been repoed. Who would have known? I certainly didn't. So ladies, today I'm shouting for you. My shouting is because one day you're not going to be on that sidewalk. One day you're not going to be in that car. One day you are going to rise and you're still going to rise after that. So today we're going to shout together that we may not see when the end is going to be, but it's going to be an end. So I shout for you. I shout that your beacon of hope is soon going to reveal where you're going to live, who you're going to be with, where you're going. I don't know what your situation is, but you would not be friends to the sidewalk one day. So I'm shouting now. No longer are you bondage to that sidewalk. One day you would no longer be bondage to the van, to the car, to the train station, to the subway, to the bus, to the park bench. I'm shouting for you today because I already see that with your faith and my faith and our prayers together, we can understand now why Grandmama was shouting. So we are going to shout because you're going to rise. You are going to rise, sister. My friend, keep the faith. God bless you, and we'll talk in a couple of days. Bye-bye.